Roughing the passer calls.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Roughing the Passer Live, covering Week 10, in the NFL season. If you're joining us for the first time, we are the one and only Day of NFL live call-in show. The point of this show, really, guys, is we want you to call in and talk to us. We will be putting a link in the chat. It's down there in the bottom right there. You don't have to come on video. You don't have to have a computer set up, a camera, anything. You literally click a link on your phone, hop on. You can be on camera or not. It's incredibly simple. If you can FaceTime or if you can even do one of your little Snapchats, then you can easily do this. But we would love to have you guys call in, let us know all of your opinions and everything. But as always, my name is the DH, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host and fan of the still undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers, Mr. John Newman. What's up, buddy?
I like the sound of that. You don't even have to give me props. Just hearing undefeated Steelers is music to my ears. I got my Pittsburgh Runs the North shirt on tonight. Yeah, man, this is crazy. Definitely wouldn't have predicted that. Even the most optimistic of Steeler fans wouldn't have done that. So,
absolutely. Well, guys, we got a jam-packed show today. Please call in if your team was robbed. If you think any team was robbed. If you want to talk about the crazy ending to some of the games today, anything you'd like to just vent, or if you just want to call and say the Cowboys suck or you disagree with something that we say or said on our previews, call in. We'd love to hear it. But as always, we'll go through the score rundown real quick. On Thursday, you had the Colts easily taking care of the Titans, 34-17. Today, you had the Browns and the Texans in one of the most boring fucking football games I've seen in my entire life, 10-7. You had the Panthers giving the Buccaneers a pretty good game, all things considered. The end result looks bad, but they gave him a run for a little bit. 46-23 is the final score as Brady, as I think we all thought, rebounded nicely. Lions win over the Washington FC, 30-27. The Giants beating the Eagles and Carson Wentz, which we'll be talking a lot about today, I think, 27-17. You've got the Packers, which is a team that I thought was really dominant, playing a Jaguars team with a quarterback that just won't go away. But the Packers squeak it out 24-20. That game was a little worse off than the final score indicated. But good game by Jacksonville. The Dolphins and Tua get the battle of the two rookie quarterbacks, 29-21 Dolphins. Then you have the Cardinals and the Bills in the most ridiculous game, and a game that cost me that fucking catch cost me $250. I'll talk about it plenty today, but fuck you, DeAndre Hopkins. Moving on, we've also got the Raiders taking that Broncos rivalry. Drew Lock ain't dancing too much today, 37-12. The Rams, in a surprising game to me at least, 23-16 over the Seahawks. The Steelers remain undefeated. I'll say that again. The Steelers remain undefeated by beating the Bengals 36-10. Saints over the 49ers 27-13. That one got a little scary, and we'll talk about that some. And we've currently got our game going on right now. Right at halftime, and it's 13-10 Patriots. Ravens do have the ball, so we may end up 13-13 at halftime, but that's what we're looking at right now. And, of course, the Vikings and Bears tomorrow night. So there's a rundown on the scores, John, but this is a crazy one. I tell you what. This is a crazy, crazy week.
Yeah, a couple games there when you look at it, like the Washington-Detroit game. You had a couple kind of nothing to write home about games, and then you had, some, you got your Philly and the Giants, which are terrible game, but in that division, that you can go from first to or last to first with a win, and so
yeah.
Even that game on paper with the record, you say, man, that's a stinker. And you're not wrong, but because the whole division stinks, that game is like a premium game because it's really for who's going to the playoff. Now, listen, I think we all can agree whoever is that representative out of that division's not going to be long of the postseason. Right. But there's still, and they're probably going to have a home game. There'll probably be a home dog by 10 points. Yeah. They're going to be a home playoff dog by double digits, no matter who they get. And that game had significance. We had some crazy endings. One that cost you, like you said, a few bucks. And,
well, let's take a look at that one now. Let's dive right into that game first. So Buffalo and Arizona. Buffalo's the team, they're trying to assert their dominance. And Arizona is one of those up-and-coming teams. Kyler Murray really trying to make a name for himself, really put it out there that he's a legit quarterback. And, you look at this game, kudos to them. I'm only going to show it once because it really hurts, and it literally cost me a parlay of $250 off a $15 bet. But you look at him, it's a beautiful scramble. He bought the time he needed. And then Hal Hopkins makes it. You got to knock the damn ball. Stop. And what do they teach these corners? I played DB my whole life. What do they teach these guys?
Yeah, man.
Just fucking swing at it. Just swing your arms in the air. I mean, my God.
I used to tell my guys, Drew, with a play like this, I don't want the interception. Don't even catch it. Just swat that thing down like a volleyball spike.
Yes.
Just hard. And here's the other thing. I don't know all the personnel on the field here, but this is a play. You don't need true corners in the game. You put your 6'4" wide receiver.
I
don't even care if he's the fourth string receiver. He's 6'4". He's not there to catch a winning touchdown himself. He's there just to knock that ball and out jump and high point the ball. And without knowing, I didn't watch the game live, because it was concurrent with the Steeler game. Yeah. I don't know if they did that, but shame on them if they didn't put their tallest guys.
No, they did everything. They did everything right except for the one thing, and that's let's see. You've got Arizona with the fucking football throwing a Hail Mary. Gee, I wonder who they're going to throw it to. Maybe the best jump ball receiver to play since Randy fucking Moss. I get you only put a couple people on them, but Jesus Christ, how do you have 2-3 people around and not one of them swipes at the ball? All of them try and catch it against somebody that is literally going to out jump you every time. Your only chance is swinging your hands and touching the ball. It's a complete and total joke. If you disagree, please call in, guys, and join the show and let me know. But John, let's move on now before we get too deep into all the games, and let's give our game balls and goats of the week. For those of you unfamiliar, game balls being the players of the week and goats being guys that shit the bed. And we would love to hear you guys. We'd love to hear who gets your game ball or who you thought just played absolutely terrible today. So please call in and let us know who gets your game ball as well. But John, we'll go with game balls and goats, and we'll start with the game balls, and I'll let you start us off. So who's got your game balls today?
Well, I'm going to be a homer here. I try not to do this, but I have to today because
you're fucking 9-0, dude. You can be a homer.
Big Ben showed that they're still fueling that tank. 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards, was on point all day, kind of led them. They had no running. Pittsburgh had no running game. This is going to be Hey, Brody. Pittsburgh's
What's up,
if
Brody?
they're down now is they don't have a running game. James Conner's not good. I love him. It's a great story. But this is a business. He's not getting it done. So I think Pittsburgh had 18 yards rushing as a team for this game. And so they're doing this on Ben's arm, on that great receiving core, some gadgety plays. Big Ben showed today, in the game. I think he came out, he didn't say it, but I think he knew on the other side of that field was a Heisman winning rookie quarterback from the state of what? Ohio, where he's from. And he just I think he had a little chip on his shoulder. He said, "Hey, not so fast, young man. Let the veteran show you how it's done." And I think he came out with something to prove, and he did just that. And Big Ben, I can be critical of him, but today he gets a game ball. In the same game, two of my three, I'm giving it to a whole a unit. The defense was tremendous today. I know it's the Bengals, but they got players. They got some receivers. Yeah. Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. I know Joe Mixon was hurt.
T. Higgins might have been the steal of the draft, by the way. Yeah. Like outside of quarterbacks, T. Higgins may be the steal of the draft. I'll just go on and say it.
He had a big game. I mean, they lost, but he had a big game. But Steelers, the Bengals were 0 for 14 on third down today. And that's defense. I don't care if that's a little bit your offense is inept. The defense has to make plays.
That's how you win. That's how you win playoff games and play into February and March.
So I got to give them a whole unit of the ball. Big Ben, and my third one's going to go to. I hate that. I know it burns you, but Kyler Murray proving me wrong, proving you wrong, proving a lot of people wrong. This guy. I'm about to say something that might be controversial to some, maybe not to you, but he might be better than Lamar Jackson. Because I'll say this: he can throw the ball. I know he's not tall, but he can throw the ball. He can make plays, and he can run. I think he's a better passer than Lamar Jackson. And if you want to say they kind of cancel each other out on the running ability, then where does that put you?
I love that statement. I absolutely love that question. And I've not been impressed with Lamar Jackson for a long time now, and I'm getting more impressed with Kyler Murray each week. Guys, call in and let us know what you think. Is Kyler Murray better? Is he turning into a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson? Because honestly, if you switch those two players around, I don't know if Lamar Jackson's doing for Arizona what Kyler would be doing for Baltimore.
Well, you got Lamar Jackson's receivers in Baltimore, Drew, publicly posting that if you're not going to use me, why am I here?
Right.
You don't have receivers in Arizona saying that. Lamar Jackson's more a runner than a passer. And Kyler Murray right now, again, it's showing both. And I don't know, man. If you're asking me, I can have one of these guys to build around. I'd be hard pressed not to say Kyler Murray right now.
Right this second, absolutely, I would have to agree with you, and I agree with all three of those. All three of your game balls. The Steelers more than deserve it, so I can't argue any of those against you there. I didn't know the stat of over 14, but that right there is how you win championships legitimately, and if that's going to be how your steal from the Jets. What's his name? Antoine. Whatever, I can't think of his name. That may be the steal of everything because he could shore up that middle linebacker position and really anchor that team. No, the guy you guys just got from the Jets, the defensive back, the middle linebacker from the Jets. I cannot think of his name. Name right this second, and I don't want to stall. Avery Williamson. So I think the Avery Williamson trade could actually be huge for you guys. And I do agree, Scott. Kyler could win MVP the way he's playing right now. But if he ever throws the ball again and ruins my parlay, I'm coming for you, son. I've already got one man on my list, and his name's John Casey. I got two on my list, and now it's Hopkins. I'm sitting at home putting my lipstick on, writing out my list, so be careful. But love the game balls, John. I'll move on to my game balls now and keep it quick and brief. But first game ball hurts. We've been talking about the game, but DeAndre Hopkins. Man, that's what they trade. How did this dude get traded? Like, how in the world do you trade?
What is Houston doing? Like,
nothing.
You got a quarterback in Deshaun Watson that a lot of teams would like. Young talent can hurt you.
Who's not the most accurate and needs a guy that can go up and get balls.
Yeah, and so
you get rid of him.
But what do you get in return? Like they're giving it's like a fire sale.
They couldn't get a first-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins. They're a joke. They are a complete and total joke.
That's why Bill O'Brien's not there no more. So
yeah, and so I've got Hopkins on my list as one of my game balls of the week, just because he had a great game beforehand, but that's coming up about as clutch can be. Number two, I really hate to do it on my list because I go from the team that cost me a lot of money to the man that just kicked the crap out of my team, and of course that's Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because you knew it was going to happen. They got exposed against the Saints team that was just not ready to play. It was a perfect storm. We've actually got a caller, PJ. We'll add you in just one moment. Thank you for calling in. But you knew he was going to come back, and you knew he was going to come out with a good game, and he had it. And my third one is actually Lions rookie running back DeAndre Swift. Yeah. Had a huge game today, coming out party, and Swift is a guy I think could be around for a very long time and has cemented himself as is in the middle of cementing himself as the back and the guy in Detroit. But we're going to bring in a caller now. We've got PJ. PJ, welcome to the show, my friend.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
So y'all asking about the GOATs and the good players?
Yeah.
Well, you know, Drew, I'm a Texans fan.
Yes.
You know that. So the entire Texans team.
We lost you for a second, I think. What was that?
I said the entire Texans team just shit the bed, so they're the GOATs. The entire thing.
I gotta ask PJ. I mean, he's the Texans fans directly. Like, what were they doing with these
what
trades?
Are they doing there?
I get if you can't sign a guy, you're not gonna be able. You don't want to pay the guy what he's asking, but like, why give him up for nothing? I mean, just is that a bill?
But then they were going to trade Will Fuller too. If they had a suitor, they were going to get rid of Will Fuller too in the middle of Watson, like the prime years where you can keep him and affordably build a team around him, and you have an okay defense. What is that team doing, PJ?
Not a goddamn thing. They have no clue. I mean, it's been trickled down. Even when they had Rick Smith, I mean, he was the godson of Bob McNair. I mean, he got rid of him and O'Brien back when the whole Wizard of Oz thing didn't work out.
Yeah.
I mean, but to answer your question about the what they're doing, why they got rid of Hopkins, because supposedly he was bringing baby mamas around the house and everything else, trying to cause them trouble. And O'Brien wasn't exactly the player's coach.
No. Yeah.
I mean, and of course, the money thing. He was coming up. He had 2 years left on his contract. They could have signed him. I mean, they could have re-signed Hyde, had Johnson.
Yeah,
do Johnson, and of course Hopkins. I mean, hell, they would probably be at least 4-4 or 4, or whatever, at least 500 this year so far, even with the horrendous defense. But I was making side bets before the season even started that they would go 1-5, 0-5. I was happy when that happened. They would actually buy it.
Yeah, well, I do have to agree. I'm wearing the shirt. They're definitely at threat level midnight. Like, the time has come. It's a dangerous time for them right now. I don't know what they're doing exactly, but that's one thing I wanted to ask a fan. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you look at the Jets. I mean, the Jets are terrible too, and they're trading their guys too, but they're getting like some higher picks, and they're going to build
You can't
for
get a
the
one
future.
for D
Like
Hop. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I get trading guys. I get it. But, like, set yourself up for the future, not just dumping guys. You're almost, for what they're getting in return for some of these trades, it's almost like they're cutting guys rather than trading them. And so,
Well,
I don't know. You got a quarterback in Watson who's pretty good. He's not terrible.
And
he's
you've
a
got
young,
one of the best offensive linemen in the league with Tunsil. Like, that's what I don't understand. You make
but
a
they paid him
brilliant
big
trade.
money.
You make a brilliant trade for him, though. The trade was excellent. You
2
make
first
a
rounders.
you make a brilliant trade. Dude, I think if it's going to protect your quarterback for 10 years, then it's worth it. But that was when I thought they were building for a team. Now they're wasting 5 of those years to rebuild because I think they've set themselves back a long time. Like, this is not a quick fix. And this is not something where it's going to test Deshaun's patience. If they get rid of Will Fuller, if they get rid of one more of his weapons, because David Johnson, I don't even consider a weapon anymore. But if they get rid of his weapons, he is not re-signing with that team. Like, something drastically has to change, or that team's going to be completely blown up and start over from scratch. And you're talking about a team that I think, John, you'd agree when we were talking about the offseason. And if we're going into the year, I'm looking at this team as a fringe playoff team, possibly a division winner, a team that's got potential to be on the move. And then look at what it's turned into.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, apparently we overestimated the wrath of Bill O'Brien, apparently, because I thought I didn't see this coming. You know, I thought, like you said, I think you summed it up. I looked at them as a team that could get in the back door to playoffs, and with a dynamic player like Watson, and at the time Hopkins and Fuller, and adding Johnson. Well, they didn't have Johnson, but with a serviceable running game, I thought they could do some damage in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing, the wheels just came off, and Bill O'Brien decided to meddle and do some crazy stuff. And here we are, and
you were saying about the Jets. I mean, I don't know who their GM's name is right offhand, but I mean, apparently he's got some common sense and having some business savvy. I mean, look, you promoted a coach to both the GM and obviously the head coach position.
They flip a coin weekly, and they just let whoever, like, it's pretty much a tournament of coin flips, and whoever ends up at the end gets to play GM for a week. It's a sweet system. I mean, it works for them.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Well, I'll say this is that I'm a Texans guy. I'm a huge, watching collector, as Drew knows. But at the same time, getting rid of Hopkins exposed him.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, he's got to have that big play, to be able to open up the intermediates. And I mean, you got speedsters who can't catch a goddamn ball. I mean, today they were just horrible.
Brandon Cooks. Like, yeah, you can go down the list.
But I think,
the best thing that happened to him for the running game was David Johnson getting hurt.
Yes, exactly. And that's really sad. But, it's definitely.
I don't think having the coach and the GM be the same guy works. It's very rare when that works. I mean,
well, no, it's playing his day. That was a failure.
Yeah, that rarely works. I mean, even, someone will point to Bill Belichick. New England has a GM, whether that's a figurehead or not. They do have a guy in place there that works with Belichick to make some of those personnel decisions. Yeah. And Bill Belichick's not the GM, because look what happened there. They traded Jimmy Garoppolo against his wishes.
Yes.
So for whatever you think of Belichick, he doesn't have the utmost power like some people give him credit for, because Kraft made that deal against Belichick. He went with Brady, wanted Jimmy G out of there, not
obviously, no, organizational control's never really been given like that. But Paul, before I let you go, man, and thank you so much for calling in. Answer this question. John asked this question, and I'm kind of having it as a question of the show, and I want to get your reaction on it. At right this second, who's better, Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson? Is Kyler catching up to Lamar? Is he past Lamar yet, or is he on his way? What do you think?
Go ahead, and I'll give my answer.
Oh no. We're asking. Yeah, we're asking.
For me, it's Kyler hands down. He was better last year.
Yeah,
he had more promise. I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, I hate to use the term everybody uses, but he's a running quarterback and he's more of a running back. I mean, comparing the two is kind of unfair to Lamar.
Yeah.
I mean, in all reality, I mean, Murray is, I hate to say it, he's kind of he's better than Watson, and he kind of reminds me of a running Mahomes.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's a great answer to it. But PJ, thanks so much for the call, man, and for tuning in. Talk to you soon, brother.
All right.
Thanks, PJ.
All right. See, guys, it's that easy. All you got to do, you click a button, call in. That's it. You join the show. And the link I'm going to put in yet again. The link's in quite a few times, but there's just the link right there. And a question we got now from Brody the Kid. Is Josh Jacobs the best running back in the NFL? Ooh, Brody, nice question, bud. That's a good one. John, I'm going to let you go first. What do you think here?
Listen, Josh Jacobs is another guy sort of proving me wrong. I wasn't big on him either. And apparently that's probably why I don't scout NFL players for the draft for teams. But he's very good. But no, I'm going to disagree with. I don't know if Brody thinks he is, but if he does, I'm going to I love Brody, but I'm going to disagree with him.
Of course.
I think he got some. I think Barkley when healthy. Christian McCaffrey is scary good, and that's no slight to Josh Jacobs. He's in that mix. He's probably top 5, but there's some talent at the running back position. So I'm gonna say no, but he's closing the gap for what that's worth. So.
Yeah, Brody, I would have to say, I agree, John. I wasn't the biggest Josh Jacobs fan. I thought he had potential, and I collected him from a hobby standpoint because he was cheap and no one was paying attention to him, and I thought he might be able to hit a home run, but I thought he was one of those guys that would thrive his rookie year. Teams would get tape, and then he'd kind of fall off, which happens to most players. Let's be honest. It's not a sophomore slump. It's called tape. But Josh Jacobs has proven me wrong. I think he's one of the top backs in the league. I think he's definitely got to be considered right now as, if you're talking about running backs right now that are healthy, that are playing, yeah, he may be one of the best. But I mean, I know this is going to sound like a homer pick, but if you give me a healthy Josh Jacobs or a healthy Christian McCaffrey or a healthy Dalvin Cook, I'm taking McCaffrey, Cook, and then Jacobs every single time.
Yeah, I'm still a Saquon guy, and I like Cook too. You could put Cook and Saquon kind of with the same asterisk, right? When healthy, because they're both shown right now that they're, again, a great 5 with Brody. We didn't even mention Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. The thing with Nick Chubb, he's very good, but the Hunt Jacobs or Hunt is also on that team, and I think it kind of hurts them both because they're kind of sharing the load. We always kind of think best back is going to be the guy wherever he is. There is no committee there, and so I think the Hunt Jacobs committee hurts, or Hunt Chubb, I should say, Hunt Chubb committee hurts both of those guys. They both could be in this conversation, but because they share there's only one ball,
right?
That's where it.
I think that's where it's going to hurt them both. Yep. All right. Well, before we move on, let's knock out our goats real quick. So we gave our game balls out. Now it's time for the guys that shoot the bed. So,
you go first, because I went first on the game balls. We might even have a couple of the same guys here. I got a feeling. So go ahead.
I would guess we probably will. My first one is going to be Mr. Good old dancing boy himself, Mr. Drew Lock. Bro, like, you're really lucky to even be suiting up on Sunday and holding a clipboard, let alone being out there starting. Stop dancing. The second he started dancing, I knew it was over. The performance today, 4 picks, 23 for 47, 257, 1 touchdown, 4 picks, and 2 rushes for 7 yards. I'm surprised he didn't try and catch a ball too, but it was probably busy dancing. But I mean, just absolutely pathetic for Drew Lock. So Drew Lock, number 1 on my list. I never thought he was starting quarterback to begin with, and I don't know how he still has a job. And they have a lot of talent there, especially with KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy. They're not utilizing it whatsoever. Taryn Patrick's even becoming a good wideout. They need someone that can play and not worry about dancing on the sidelines. Second up for my next GOAT, I got to go with Carson Wentz, man.
Did you read my notes?
No, dude, I talked to you like 2 seconds before airtime.
You got 2 of my 3. Let's see. Well, go ahead with Wentz, but let's see if you get the third one on my list.
27-17 the Giants. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, sorry, Brody, for the language. I apologize. I'm trying to keep it as PG as possible, but I'm angry because I lost a lot of money. Thanks to DeAndre Hopkins. But Carson Wentz, 21 for 37, 208 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Are you kidding me? And 2 rushes for 4 yards. Jalen Hurts didn't even get it. They put him in for 2 plays. They were rush gimmick plays. What in the world does this team think they're doing? Like, Carson, you're 3-5-1. The Giants are 3-7. I mean, granted, that tie is probably going to get you the division, but not if you keep throwing out these games. You're in this game right here. Okay, going into the fourth quarter, it's 21-17. You've got to, at some point, especially when you're putting up no points in the fourth quarter, no movement, no ball movement whatsoever, you've got to give Jalen Hurts a chance. You have to put him out there. You have to design. You've got to Taysom Hill him is a perfect example. You've got to figure out how to get him on the field some so he can get used to the speed of the game a little bit and see what he can do. But Carson Wentz is a complete and utter total joke today. So you're one of my GOATs, buddy. And my last and final GOAT goes to 2 entire football teams, and that's the Houston Texans and the Cleveland Browns. I unfortunately had the good faith of that being the other game on besides the Panthers. I wanted to shoot myself. That was absolutely awful. Both teams should be absolutely embarrassed. No Cleveland fan in their right mind should be happy about this win. You're 6-3, and that's impressive. But this was just pathetic. This was pathetic football all around. Baker played terrible, 12 of 20 for 132 yards and no touchdowns. Watson played a little bit better. It's just they kept turning the ball over, and they couldn't do anything when they got down there. And so those are my 3. I mean, you got 2 football teams and then 2 quarterbacks, and those are my GOATs. But some really bad play today.
Well, you took 2 of my 3 in Wentz and Locke. So there's a time saver. Wentz, I don't know what happened to him, man. He regressed.
Dude, he's done.
That whole team regressed.
He's done in Philly.
This team,
he's done in Philly. He has lost that football team.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll take him. You're going to think this. I'll take him as the backup in Pittsburgh. That
might be a perfect system. Carson Wentz could go to another team, and I think he could thrive as starting quarterback. He has lost that team. That is not the system for him. He needs to go, and he needs to go fast before he's viewed as a clipboard holder.
Yeah, we'll take him in Pittsburgh with the hope, with the promise that we'll give when Ben hangs him up, we'll give him a shot to win the job type of deal. Depending on who else is in that quarterback room. So, yeah, you got the 2 of the 3 that I had. So we'll move on to the one you didn't get. This is a shocker, but he's played terrible pretty much 2 weeks in a row. He's taken himself out of the MVP race at the moment. And it's sad. It's Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Big division game, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Coming up, I went and picked
9
Seattle,
turnovers in 3 games. 9.
Yeah,
in 3 games.
And when we did our picks, I picked this game. I said Russell Wilson's going to have a bounce back, keep his name at the front of the MVP race, and he did the opposite of that today. And he got outplayed by Jared Goff. It wasn't even close. And when your defense sucks and Seattle's defense sucks, you have to play better than that, or they went from looking like the NFC representative in the Super Bowl to like a first round out in the playoffs all of a sudden. And so, the NFC, I will say this, is definitely up for grabs. I mean, I both AFC is too, but the NFC is just so convoluted. You don't know what you're getting. Arizona looks great one week, then they lose. Seattle hinges on what Russell Wilson does. And as you see, when he's played 2 bad games, they've lost. And so I love him. He's a great player. He's just not playing great football right now. And so he's getting a rare GOAT award this week.
Yeah, and I honestly think it's they had a stat about a month ago, right before all this terrible play started. They had about how he was the most pressured quarterback in the league. Yet he had one of the best percentages of all time while being pressured. Well, I think you're starting to see 10 weeks in of absolutely no protection, no matter how good you are at getting out of it and avoiding the sacks, getting out of that stuff. Eventually it's going to catch up to you. And you're seeing it now. These aren't interceptions that he's throwing where he's stepping into the pocket, stepping into throws, going through progressions. This is when he's scrambling out, rolling to the outside, trying to make something happen and do some Russell Wilson stuff. Let's face it. It's what he's done his whole career. But he's going through a very rough patch right now. I don't see how he wins the MVP unless every other quarterback now really drops bad. I mean, they would have to just plummet games. I mean, Josh Allen had a couple of rough ones. I mean, Brady's had a couple of rough ones. Breeze has had some rough ones. Rodgers has. All these guys have had some tough games. Mahomes has had a couple that aren't great. Jackson, definitely. I mean, Kyler may be up there as some of the best. And then looking at what Paul just said in the comments right here, Kamara. I mean, this may be a year where we get an MVP. Yeah, an MVP that's not a quarterback.
Out of a running back position.
Yep, because they're all failing and some very big games.
I'd say Dalvin Cook if Minnesota was playing better. He's not going to win because Minnesota's probably not going to the postseason. So Kamara is a great player, but if you look at the stat, he doesn't have a ton of rushing yards.
No.
He's sort of a Swiss Army knife. Kind of, they just, the stats don't overwhelm me. He finds the end zone. I mean, he's scoring touchdowns. I'm not saying he isn't worthy. I don't think the stats get him the award.
No, my MVP, and here's something I want right now is, guys, call in and please give us your MVP so far. And guys, remember, Vintage Breaks, if you're part of Vintage Breaks or not, the first 3 callers that do call in are getting a $5 break credit towards vintagebreaks.com if you guys are collectors. So
well, I think we lost Drew. So, but going back to the MVP talk, I'll fill in for him.
There he is. I'm back. So Paul got into 1, but we've got 2 more. But I want to know who y'all's MVP is. Let us know who your MVP is. But mine, I mean, honestly, John, right now, it's got to be Dalvin Cook. Like, if I'm giving it to anyone that's not a quarterback, it's Dalvin Cook. Like, that dude. The Vikings are not I'm looking at a player that if you take them off that team, they're terrible. You take Dalvin, and they're picking first.
I love Dalvin Cook, man. I love him, and his stats are easily MVP worthy. But I think when these writers and vote for this award, they're looking at the team record, especially in football. here's a guy we haven't talked about. Again, it's going to be my homer night on this show this week. But Ben Roethlisberger,
yeah,
22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, staying healthy, playing through little nicks and stuff. He's been getting, nicks.
You know what he needs? You know what he needs is he needs that one big game. He needs that one big game.
That kind of came today.
Right. No. I mean that prime time, the one where everyone sees it. The one where it's that big underneath the lights against a massive rival and then just show out. Like if he were to have that, I'd say every single outlet would be promoting him for MVP. And I think he's a good choice for an MVP. Absolutely.
He's never won one. They're 9-0. Hopefully
he definitely deserves one.
When they play Jacksonville. 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I'd say this if I wasn't a Steelers fan. I know it's right. I actually try not to talk about him too much. I'll wear my apparel, but I try to not jinx anything. I'm a little superstitious. But right now, man, he's definitely in the mix. Tom Brady had a couple clunkers, but he's probably in the mix. Aaron Rodgers. Brody mentioned Aaron Rodgers. He's having a pretty good year too. But they're sort of a Jekyll and Hyde team. One week they look like they could be in the Super Bowl, and the next week they lose.
Hey! I hate to cut you off, but we got a very special guest and someone that I'm very excited to bring in. Brody the Kid. What's up, my man? What's up, buddy?
What's going on, BTK?
Not much. I think what you guys have been talking about is awesome. It was a great week 10 of football. There was a lot of ups and downs, and I agree with you about Carson Wentz. He needs to go. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
are you an Eagles? Are you an Eagles fan, Brody? I never actually asked you. Okay.
No, I kind of.
You just know he sucks
because he looks good. Because he looked good in college, and I think Wentz is just.
Well, he had a year or two even with the Eagles that he was the real deal. I don't know I don't know what happened with the regression. Even the team, that's not. I'm not trying to get Wentz off the hook. It's not just him. That team has fell off. That team was in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. And
when that happens? You know when that happens? When the quarterback loses the team.
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. And then you read things where players are criticizing them anonymously. Like you said, Drew, it's probably over there. As a Steeler fan who doesn't have a number 2 quarterback that's serviceable, it ain't Mason Rudolph, it ain't Josh Dobbs. Let's pull that trade off and have. Listen, I'll take them with the weapons we got. With the weapons we have, I mean, you don't have to do too much. I could have a decent box score with that kind of lineup.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, Brody, thanks so much for calling in, man. What's up? What you got? A question or MVP answer? What's going on, buddy?
Well, I kind of wanted to ask you guys.
Sure.
What do you guys think the Bears need to do to win tomorrow? The Minnesota's coming off a good win against Green Bay. Well, no, maybe that was 2 weeks ago. But they won last week too.
Yeah.
They play like the Lions or somebody.
Yes.
They won. I know that. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Cousins has looked way better, which I think is why they're winning. I mean, obviously Cook is going off, but Cousins has also looked way better, which I think it's kind of going together because Cook is playing so well. Cousins actually doesn't throw 4 interceptions a game now. What do you think that the Bears need to do to win? Because I'm nervous about this one. I got to be honest with you.
The Bears got to control the clock. Yep. They've got to have long drives and keep Cook off the field and the Vikings. Whether they can do that, that's the $1 million question. A guy I thought was going to be very good for you guys, Brody, has not been, and that's David Montgomery out of the backfield, who I really liked. He's been a little disappointing. That's the kind of guy that could, if he was playing better, could get those first downs and extend that time of possession. You got to win tomorrow. You got to win the time of possession battle to have any chance. You're not gonna like me for saying this. I probably would take the Vikings, but if the Bears are to win, you're gonna have to take time off the clock. Dalvin Cook's gonna get his numbers but you got to limit his touches by keeping him off the field. Long extended drive.
I definitely agree with that, Brody. Listening to John right there, time of possession is going to be huge. You've got to keep Minnesota off the field. It's going to come down to three things: time of possession, Dalvin Cook. You got to shut him down because they're going to be on the field eventually. You've got to shut him down. I'd even almost give him the pass and take away Dalvin Cook. I think the Bears secondary is good enough to. I mean, Jackson maybe not, but everyone else, I think you're good enough. But this is going to come down to time of possession, Dalvin Cook, and straight up coaching. This is going to be one of those chess match games because it's going to be a time and possession game. It's going to be the coach that can adapt at halftime. It's going to be the coach that can disguise some stuff, put some stuff in, and, you know, the more prepared coach is going to win this game. But, I mean, it's really there's really nothing else that Chicago can do to win this game outside of controlling the clock and out-coaching Minnesota.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And you bring up Eddie Jackson, which is interesting because he's had a couple nice years, but this year he has just been awful. Like, I don't know what is going on with him. He had one defensive touchdown, I think. I forget against who, but besides that, he's had like nothing.
I know.
He keeps blowing coverage. Like, I don't know what's up with him, to be honest with you.
It's been rough.
Really isn't playing that well. I mean, I think it all has to do with the offense. I mean, when the Bears offense goes 3 and out, 3 drives in a row, defense goes on too long, and that's why the Titans won last week. Because
you could always hope for Kirk Cousins to have a bad game. He's capable. He's capable. If that happens, you got to, either a Kirk Cousins bad game or you win the time of possession battle, or if they both happen, you probably do win. And so, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't know.
Yeah,
it might be one of them low-scoring games.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring one. I think it's going to be a fun one. And Brody, thanks so much for calling in. But before I let you go, man, plug your show real quick because Brody, I don't know if you guys know watching, if you're into collecting and you're into the hobby, or if you got a youngster at home that wants to get into it, you definitely need to have them watch the show. So Brody, plug your show real quick, bud.
Thank you so much, Drew. So it's called Hobby Life Show on YouTube. It airs live every 2 weeks, and we have it coming up next Saturday. Should be 6 p.m. Central Time. We may have to change it due to conflict, but we're thinking hopefully 6 p.m. Central Time. Usually it's 6 p.m. Central Time. The last episode came out last week. You guys could check that one out on YouTube. I interviewed Tim Trout from Panini America. He's the NASCAR brand manager, so that was a lot of fun. And just a couple episodes ago, I actually interviewed John Newman, which was a very
that guy's terrible.
Yeah. Skip that episode, everyone, but all the other ones are great.
Listen, I gotta go the right way. You gotta get Drew on.
We'll be on soon. But Brody, thanks so much for calling in, bud, and we'll see you on the hotline soon, buddy.
All right, see you, everybody.
All right. Thank you, Brody the Kid. For those that don't know, that man right there, he's part of Hobby Hotline with John and I, and probably one of the smartest people in the hobby I know. So
you just stole my thought. Probably the smartest 12-year-old kid for sure. He's definitely going to wear that banner.
Yes, and if you want to get your kids into sports, into collecting, into all that stuff, there's no one with a better passion. This show's wonderful. But thanks, Brody, for calling in as well. Ron, I see you. What's up, buddy? I know you're getting those DK flawlesses that I want and all that stuff in. That's great. Your Sea Chickens barely gave me enough today, so I'll hold on. I'm just mad at Hopkins still. Fuck him. But, all right, guys. Well, we got 9 minutes left. So before we wrap everything up, we got a couple things going. But, John, I want to get to it since we've had some fun callers. And, guys, please call in and join the show. The way you call in is you click this link that I'm putting in right here. You do not have to have anything along the lines of like camera, anything, just a phone. You don't have to be on camera, anything. So that's all you have to do to call in and join the show.
And I mean this with all due respect to Brody. It's so easy a 12-year-old can do it.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, probably the smartest 12-year-old in the world, but
still
he's 12 and he can do it. So can you.
And as Brody said, he did want to mention we did have the longest field goal of the year today at 61 yards. If Sly had hit from 67 last week, we would have had that earlier. But Guy, here we go with my favorite segment. I mean, I started it because I kept saying the word apparently, but we've got Shit Whip of the Week. My favorite time of the year, my favorite time at least of the day where I get to finally view some really big hits. There's nothing better than new hits and big ones. And this week there weren't too many. I was almost going to be going with your Steelers, John, but I found one that was just absolutely beautiful, and it deserves to be seen like a million times, but we'll put it in on once. So this week's Shit Whip of the Week comes to us courtesy of the LA Rams, and it is another offensive player. I love this. Robert Woods, around and boom. You want to learn how to tackle or you want to get jacked up? Watch this in slow motion.
Look at the sideline.
I know. Oh, it's Robert. I mean, dude, it's Robert Woods. Watch this. It's beautiful. Great angle. Just straight up levels this fool. Now, maybe if you actually learned how to tackle and you did it how you were taught since a child, this wouldn't happen to you, like wrapping up and going for leverage. But what they're trying to do, I don't know. But Robert Woods, good for you, buddy. That's why they won this game. Physicality. You know, they out physical Seattle everywhere, including even trying to tackle. So there's your Shit Whip of the week with an offensive player getting the accolades.
Yeah, I like that. That's worthy for sure. And I mean, look at that kind of stuff. You played, I coached.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Pump your team up. Look at that sideline. Get all
exactly.
That stuff, like you said, can make a difference in the game. Besides being the highlight we picked to show on the show, that can get your whole sideline fired up, and that did. And you know, that game surprised me. I thought Seattle was going to win the game, and no such luck. And you know, that's how crazy the NFL is this year, Drew. Is from one week to the next, we can literally do a 180 on a team, on the player. And you know, probably, I mean, a lot of years that could be the case, but this year it seems even more so. Maybe you know, when you look at the NFC least division, every week matters in that division because they're all bunched up together. They're all sorry teams. Someone's going to win that division. So normally you'd say, man, 3-7 teams, I don't even care about that game, and you'd be right. But now that game has significance because you could go from last to first, and then you got guys playing themselves out of awards. You know, Russell Wilson went from already having that thing on his mantle to you know, he's got an empty space again. So you know, just a crazy.
Well, speaking of standings, man, look at this. I mean, going through, we're adding playoff teams, so we really needed another one. But the NFC East, I mean, Jesus, this is just like I said, that tie is huge.
I can't remember. I don't know about you. I'm older than you, Drew.
Yeah.
I can't remember a division this bad ever before.
Yeah, but then you look right here. I mean, you're looking at probably the two wild cards. 2 of the 3 wild cards are going to be out of this division right here. Rams and Seahawks are going to take those 2 probably, unless they beat each other up. And then, you know, Packers, Bears, Lions, Vikings. I mean, we're talking about the Vikings and Dalvin Cook being a possible MVP candidate. The Vikings are 3-5. Like, this is a football team that's struggling. Like, they need that game tomorrow bad. They need it very bad. Otherwise, their season's over. And then you go to the NFC South. You've got 2 teams up on the top and then 2 teams at the bottom. At least my Panthers settled where they belong. But yeah, the NFC East, I mean, this is a complete joke. We're 10 games in a 16-game season, and you have a 389 winning percentage in first place. That's a complete
Paul
joke.
Jatzlau in the comments, the Cowboys have a shot. They do. He's right.
Yeah. Every team has a shot.
Yeah, that's true. I thought the Cowboys might make a move at the trade deadline for
Me
like
too.
someone else's backup quarterback.
Bortles, somebody.
Yeah, or even to sign Bortles. Like Bortles is out there. Like I said this last week, the Steelers should cut Mason Rudolph and sign Bortles.
Yes.
Someone else would say, man, Rudolph was younger. He's a draft pick. He stinks. He's terrible. Blake Bortles is better than him in street clothes.
Hey, you look right here going through these. Sorry to interrupt, but you look in the Steelers division. We're talking about earlier about Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson. If Baker continues to play good and Lamar continues to struggle, there's a good chance that, I mean, 2 wild cards. I mean, you've got the Raiders probably taking one of those wild card spots. Dolphins are definitely taking one. The Patriots might be able to sneak into one. It's going to be tough for the Ravens and Browns to both get into the playoffs with the Steelers. The Browns might knock the Ravens out of that playoff race. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on.
Go back to that
Week
division.
11.
A lot of people don't know this. The AFC North, 3 of the starting 4 quarterbacks. What? Heisman Trophy winners.
Heisman Trophy, yep. And then Joe Burrow. But it's very, very interesting.
Joe Burrow's won. It's Ben Roethlisberger's the one without the hardware.
Yeah.
It's Joe Burrow, Baker, and Lamar all winning Heismans. And Ben says, listen, I went to Miami of Ohio. I wasn't going to win a Heisman, but I'll just try to win Super Bowl rings. I got 2 of them. Yeah,
I'd rather take the 2 Super Bowl rings myself. But, I mean, you look at – the Cowboys, any team can – the Eagles, Giants, Washington FC, or the Cowboys can all win that division. At 2-7, they're literally 2 games back.
That's crazy, man.
They're 2 games back from being in first place. This is the worst
division I've ever seen. This is definitely someone before the season started, I forgot where I heard it, but someone called this and said, man, 6 wins might win this division. 5 wins now might win this division.
Yeah. And the only reason one of them's going to get to 5 is because they're all forced to play each other twice. So someone's got to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only reason that they're going to get there. It's shocking to me. And I mean, some of it's injuries, but maybe Eagles come to their senses, put Jalen Hurts in, and actually go on a winning streak. Maybe Daniel Jones finally gets his swagger back. Maybe Washington has found an answer with Alex Smith. Maybe the Cowboys have found an Sorry, I tried, but I tried to get through that Cowboys part. But
it's gonna be an interesting week on Philadelphia radio.
Radio.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
Wentz probably won't come out of his house. I think he's a really good dude, but man, that's a tough city to not play good in. This is a city that threw snowballs at Santa Claus. So you're not going to be any more liked than Santa Claus. You'll be lucky. Wentz would be lucky if he just gets snowballs thrown at him without something in the middle of them, planted. Yep. So, yeah, man.
Absolutely.
It's been a crazy year, and it's not even over yet. So.
Yep, absolutely. Well, guys, it is that time. So we're going to wrap up today's show. Thanks so much, guys, for calling in. We love it when you guys call in with just anything you want to talk about, like Brody calling in, wanting to talk about the game tomorrow night, or Paul calling in just to talk about Houston some, like anything. We want to discuss football with you guys, make this show about you guys as well, because that's what it's all about, and hopefully give some of our knowledge. Once again, both of us did pretty well on the picks. If you're going for picks, definitely check out our pick videos, as we are I watched some ESPN and some pre-games. My God, they're terrible at picking football games compared to us. But, just saying. But once again, guys, thank you so much for calling in, tuning in. Even if you're just watching and you're not calling in, thank you for watching or listening, as this is on audio as well. But we also have, I know I have a new episode out of Let Me Get That Potograph that was just dropped. And Mr. Newman, you have a new episode of Sports Card Nation as well, correct?
Yeah, last couple of days ago, Friday,
Yep.
For the graded card folks out there, had the co-owner of My Slabs, Matt Greeny, on to talk about the graded card industry, the current temperature, and the site
Yeah.
My Slabs, which I personally love. They do a great job there, and
And a parallel to that, you might as well listen to both shows together. As I had Card Ladder and House of Jordan host Chris on. Let me get that potograph as well. And if you guys did miss the big announcement, myself and Mr. Newman have started a new show called Breaking Cardboard, which is going to be the debut episode is going to be something huge. We'll be announcing it very soon, and this is going to be a show that pretty much when it's on, it's going to be some of the biggest stuff in the hobby. This is going to be one of those big time shows, and it's going to be live, so you guys are going to be able to interact with it as well. More info on that in the future, but we'll have our picks up later this week. Enjoy the Monday night game, Mr. Newman. It's a pleasure as always.
Yeah, fun. Got some callers today. If you're listening to this again, I'll reiterate what Drew said. If you're listening to this in the audio form only, thank you. But also know this show is being recorded in the audio form live Sunday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We'd love to have you be in the room live, and come on the show with us as well. And then you can listen to yourself on the audio version in a couple days right after that.
Exactly. But till next week, guys, there's only one thing to say.
Roughing the passer calls.